Okay, welcome back, folks. This is Mr. Iqbal speaking here on one-to-one tutor, looking at Set B Test 4, CGP Key Stage 2 Maths at BUSTER. So this is based on the new syllabus, okay, that came in 2016 and 17. Right, these ones are 10-minute tests, 7 questions only. Complete the following equivalent fractions. Right, let me hold my pen. So we look at the bottom here, the number 5 has become a 10, and it's become a 10 by doubling. So what we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. So we double the top. So 2 times by 2 is 4. So the first box should have a 4 in it. Next. Now, in this next fraction, 16 over 72, the operation has been started at the top now. So how did 16 become 2? So what 16 was divided by 8. And again, what we do on the top, we must repeat on the bottom. So we must do now 72 divided by 8. And 72 divided by 8 will give us 9. And that's the end of our first question. Okay, so whether we're starting on the bottom of the question or we're starting on the top, it doesn't matter, just as long as you understand how one of them gets to the other number and you repeat that process with the missing number. Okay, next one. Kate bought 6 chocolate cakes for £8.16. So 6 of them cost her £8.16. 6 chocolate cakes. Okay. Okay, right, let's try and draw a little chocolate cake there. How much does one cake cost? So we've got to work out the cost of one. So we need to do £8.16, and some people call this the bus stop method. We do division. Remember, the decimal point that's here has to be copied above in the same place. So how many 6's go into 8 is 1, and that will leave you 2 left over. So you carry that on. How many 6 will fit into 21 will be 3, because 6 times by 3 is 18. That leaves you 3 left over. How many 6's will fit into 36? So that will be 6. So the answer for that question is £1.36. And make sure to make your decimal point obvious to the examiner when you do the exams, because the work will be scanned and sent to the examiners electronically. So you have to make sure that everything's clear in your work. Okay, let's move the page down a bit. Here are some signs. Use 2 of the signs to make these calculations correct. So 9 times by 6 is equal to, that will give you 54. So 54 is bigger than 52, so you have to use the bigger than sign. How do we know this? Because this side is the open side, which means big, and this little pointer means the smaller side, which is 52. So if you have 2 and we minus 7, that will give us minus 5, and that's minus 3. Now if you look at a line, and we have the numbers along here, these are the negative numbers. So let's put some on to give us some kind of idea. So we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5. So minus 5 is over here, and minus 3 is over here. Now, in negative numbers, the more positive the number is, the more closer the number is to the 0, the more bigger it is. So if you, as you can see from here, the minus 3 is more closer to the 0 than the minus 5. So minus 3 is actually bigger than minus 5. So now this way we're going to change it around now to that way. Minus 3 is bigger because it's more positive, it's more closer to the 0. Right, let's move on to the next question now. Question number 4. Question number 4, we have a kitten. Josh has a kitten and a dog. His kitten is shown on this scale. How long is his kitten? So we've got to measure from here, and we've got to measure up to here. So the first measurement we have on the scale, if you look carefully, that's going to give us 8 centimeters. And the next one will be 35, 36, 37 centimeters. So how long is the kitten? So we have to work out the difference between them. So we have to do 37 minus 8. Now if you do 37 minus 7, that'll give you 30, then minus an extra 1. So that'll give you 29. So the answer for that one should be 29. So be careful, make sure that you understand that you got to start reading here and you got to stop reading here. Okay. So together, Josh's kitten and dog measure 1 meter. How long is the dog? So we have 29 centimeters for the cat. Add the measurement for the dog, and altogether gives us 1 meter. Now remember, in 1 meter, if you change that into centimeters, it'll be 100 centimeters. So you've got to work out the dog's measurement. So in order for us to work out this missing number here, we have to do a reverse operation. So the opposite of adding 29, we take it over, it becomes minus 29. So we have 100 minus 29. 100 minus 29 will be, if you do 100 minus 30, that'll give you 70. Add 1 back on. So the box will be equal to 71 for number 4. Okay, I'm just going to do a bit of deleting here so I get my number in there because I've kind of slightly gone into that space there. Just give me a moment, please. So that'll give me 71 centimeters. Okay, that's just one way of setting out the question to work out the answer. Question number 5. A circle has been drawn for you with its center marked. Draw a radius on the circle. So, first of all, if you look at a circle here and you want to draw the radius is always the length from the middle to the outside. I've drawn my line there. It says draw a radius of a circle. Now, my tool gives me a little arrow. You don't need an arrow on yours. Just make sure it's got a straight line. But that's the radius. If I wanted to show the diameter, I would show all the way across. That's the diameter. Let's take that off because that's not the question. If I wanted to talk about this, mention the circumference. The circumference is the distance. Oops, wrong tool. The circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle. That would be the circumference. So let's get rid of that. That's just a bit of side knowledge. Okay, so there's my radius. I've drawn my radius in there. Anyway, you can draw a line on there. My line's got a little arrow on it. You shouldn't have an arrow on yours. That's the tool. It gives you an arrow. Right, let's go back up a bit. Okay, right. A different circle has a radius of 17 millimeters. What is its diameter now? The diameter is always double of our radius. So 2 times by 17, because the diameter is the distance all the way across, not half the way across. So if you do 2 times by 17, work that out, that'll give us 34. So that's the answer there. So remember, radius is equal to half the diameter, and the diameter is equal to double of the radius. So there's our radius here, and the diameter will be all the way across. Okay, let's move on. Question number 6 now. The following line graph shows Padma's height between the ages of 8 and 12. Okay, somebody's been eating too many aloo and ande. Okay, height between the ages of 8 and 12. How much did Padma grow between the ages of 11 and 12? Between the ages, okay, let's have a look. So let's get our tool. Okay, right, let's get our tool for drawing. I think that's the one. So we're looking for 10, for 11 and 12. Sorry, for 11 and 12. Okay, here's 11. So we go up from 11, go up. We hit this part here, we go across, and we stop here. That's for 11. Now for 12, you draw a line up. Oops, my line's slightly off on the bottom. Sorry about that. And then we go across, and then we stop over there. Right, let me just move this across to make it a little bit more better. Okay, that looks a bit better. All right, let's get rid of that tool now and get back to pen. So we have 120, 130, 135 is over here, and that's 140, 145, 150, 150 over there. Okay, so it goes, how much did Padma grow between the ages of 11 and 12? Between the ages of 11 and 12, so it'll be the difference between 150 and 135. So for question number 6, the answer will give us an answer of 15 centimeters. Now be careful here. In the exam, they do this a lot. We are working in centimeters and they are working in meters. Centimeters versus meters, 2 different units. So now we've got to change the 15 centimeters into meters by dividing by 100. So that will give us 0.15 meters. So it's important that you don't rush and you just throw this 15 in here and get the answer completely wrong. Because here they're working in centimeters, but they want the answer in meters. So you need to look. Whoops. Oh, someone say look. No. Okay. Look. Look carefully at the units. It's very important. So no point having 15 centimeters in the answer, but it looks as 15 meters in the answer. Okay, let's move on. Last question now for this test paper. Question number 7. A shop sells fish fingers in 2 boxes, A and B. Box A contains 12 fish fingers at the cost of £2.52. So 12 fish fingers, okay, 12 fish fingers, oops, they cost 252 pence. And box B contains 20 fish fingers and they cost 380 pence. Okay, which box is better value for money? The better value for money means you got to work at the cost of each fish finger in each of the boxes. So this one here is box A. This one here is box B. So let's work that out. Let's get a different pen. Let's change. So I've got to work out the cost of one fish finger. So to get from 12 fish fingers to one fish finger, we have to divide by 12. So we have to do 252. We have to divide it by 12. So 12 into 252. So 12 into 2 is nothing, remainder 2. 12 into 25 is 2, because 12 times by 2 is 24, remainder 1. So that gives you 1. So we now know that each fish finger box A costs us 21p each. Now, we have 20 fish fingers in the second box, and the cost £3.80. So I need to divide by 20 to work out the cost of 1 again. So let's say divide that by 20, divide that by 20. Different method, different approach, different color. So we say divide that by 10, divide that by 10, divide this by 10, divide this by 10. So we're cancelling it down. So we're now left with, okay, 20. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, next one. So I'm doing cancelling now, both sides. So divide that by 2. Oops, the pen's gone a bit crazy. Okay, divide that by 2, divide that by 2, divide that by 2, divide that by 2. So we have 38. If we do half it, that'll give you 15. Add 4, that'll give you 19. So each one of those costs 19p. 19 pence. So as we can see, that the second box, box B, has better value. So the answer would be box B. The answer, box B is better value because they are 2p cheaper. So this one to this one, the difference is 2 pence. So this one is the cheaper one, box B. That's the end of this test. That's the end of this video. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully this will help you with your SATs preparation. Remember, think about the question. Make sure you understand all the different steps in the question. Make sure your answers in the right units. Make sure all you're working out, and make your working and answering clear so when the examiner sees it, because your work will be scanned and sent to the examiner, that the examiner is not confused by what you've done. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please give us a like and leave us any comments about how we can make our future videos even better than this one. Thank you very much.